don't think you were born in the wrong generation. Because the year you were born in and the decade you were born in was the perfect year that you could have been born in. Because if you were born, for example, like 30 years earlier, like, for example, if you were born maybe like in the 90s, you would have had different parents because, who knows, maybe your parents probably would have been too young to raise you. Or if you were born like 30 years into in the future, like, let's say if you were born in the 2050s, your parents probably would have been too old to, have you. But another thing is living in, like, today's society. Would you rather live in here, now, this year, or would you rather live a century ago? As a girl, if I lived a century ago, I would be celebrating the fact that women are allowed to vote. But I would probably be at the age where I'm forced to marry a man who is much older than me, like in his 30s or 40s, and he's probably abusive, and I have a lot of kids. And if I said something like, I don't know, I want to be a politician, everyone would laugh at me. They'd be like, no, you can't be. You're a girl. Women can't be politicians. No, they can't. You can't be a doctor. You're a woman. You can't fight in the army. You're a woman. Like, even though it would have been revolutionary to, be alive while women having the right to vote, like, I know it was, like, amazing to, be around in that time. But the truth is, would you really want to live in that time? Because women just had less rights than they do now. I know that women still do not have equal rights, but it's objectively better than 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. Women are, like, being treated better. And, if you're a person of color, would you rather live now or 100 years ago? I really hope you said now, because people of color definitely have more rights now than they did before. 100 years ago, you'd probably be celebrating the fact that, the incredible, incredible speech of Martin Luther King Jr. But it's just that, being a person of color 100 years ago would have been really, really hard. As someone who is not a person of color, I can't imagine how challenging it must be to live. How challenging it must be to live 100 years ago. And I know that society's standards are still unfair, but they are objectively better than back then. I would very much rather be alive now in the year 2025 than be alive in the year 1925 or 1995. Because this is just where it makes most sense. Like, I'm more mature than most people my age. Women have more rights than they did 100 years ago or 30 years ago. And, it's still hard to, live life. Like, life is always going to be challenging no matter how much time goes by. I think with the whole AI shit, it's going to be really challenging. But, like, don't lose hope. Like, don't worry about the future, because you will figure it out. And don't worry thinking that you were born in the wrong decade, because the decade you were born in, like, you should take pride in, you know, your origin. Like, the year you were born is a part of who you are. Your country of origin is a part of who you are. The language you speak, anything. It's a part of who you are. Because you don't have control over it. And you didn't choose which year to be born. It just happened. And I know none of us asked to be born. But that doesn't mean we can't ask ourselves to see if we can make the world a better place, or to just have hope in the future. And to be proud of what we can and can't control. And the things that we do have control over, we can try to work it out. That's just my take on it. Like, I know I was born in the right generation because I can't really imagine any other age I could be other than now. Like, I feel like my life would just be different if I was, in my 30s now, or in my 40s. I would just be a completely different person. I probably wouldn't even have the same name, and I wouldn't have the same body features, and I certainly wouldn't have the same parents. So I would be different. And if I were born, in a year that, wasn't the year I was born, I wouldn't be, me. I wouldn't have the same, anything. Just always stay true to yourself. No matter, what happens. Even if people try taking you down, just remember that you are in this life for a reason. And when I say for a reason, I want to say that you didn't just spawn here on Earth. You didn't just spawn here. You came from something. You just don't, nobody just appears, automatically, voila, magic, because, everyone really came here, and I do believe that, everyone, in this world, in this society, has a purpose. You just do. You're not, you're gonna find your purpose. I mean, even if life has no meaning, it is very, very meaningful to us. You can always try to find a way to find yourself. And that no matter what, I want you to promise me, right now, over here today, that no matter what, you must always be proud of who you are, or who you truly are as a person. Because even if life may have no meaning, it still has a purpose. It still exists. Life still exists. And Sure, a reason and a purpose might definitely, be used interchangeably, but a reason is the why, and a purpose is a what. Like, keep asking yourself what you are and who you are, instead of why you're here. Because you may never find out. You may never know, why we're here and why we were created. But we know that even though not everything happens for a reason, we do know that we are all humans and that we are living things and that we are valuable to society, and that the way we behave on this planet means everything to us. Literally everything. I know nothing is going to be perfect, but it certainly can, and I mean it. It can always be better. There is always room for improvement, no matter what happens. Anything can get better. And you may ask yourself, what if it gets worse? But what if it gets better? Because the year you were born is an important part of your life, an important part of you in general. There is no other year I would rather be born in than the year that I was born in. I just can't seem to wrap my head around the fact of how different life would have been if I was born into the far future or way into the past. It's just too much for my brain to even process. So all that I wonder is, what can I do in this life? And what am I? And what is my purpose? What is my goal? That's what you should be asking yourself. I mean, you'll probably live your whole life not knowing you, but other people will know you once you find the right people to surround yourself with. I know it's really hard, but it's harder to do it alone. Sometimes there are things you have to do alone, but you really don't have to do them alone. Every generation has their struggles, their strengths, their weaknesses. But something that remains unchanged is that we are all human. We are all mortal. And we live. We laugh. We cry. We celebrate. We party. We have fun. We suffer. We struggle. We deal with all of these things as humans. And I get it, being a human sucks, but you don't have control over that either. if you can't change things, like if you are absolutely incapable of controlling something, then try getting used to it and don't complain. Or try figuring out other ways to navigate through the hard times. Because no matter what happens, you are going to be okay. Because I am just as human as you. I go through crazy shit like every day. And I always wonder, what the hell will I be doing when I'm 35 or 22 or 20 or 40? What will my life be like? I don't know. But I take pride in the year I was born, the generation I came from, the people that supported me throughout my life. And I know that I have lived my whole life, and I will continue to. Because I have my whole life ahead of me. And I'm not even halfway there yet. I'm not even close to 40 or 35. I mean, I might be like about a quarter of the way there, and that is still a long time to live that I have lived, but I know I'm going to keep living. I'm going to live my life to my full potential. And nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to stop me. Killing yourself is not the answer. I know life is really hard. And I know that mental health is really hard taken care of. I didn't know how to take care of my mental health until I was probably 12 or 13. But I still want you to promise me that you'll live your life to your full potential. And that nothing is going to get in that way. Because the truth is, you matter. And the way you feel is completely valid. You deserve to live. And you were born in the right generation. And was born in the right world. And that we all get to live in this world together. As Louis Armstrong once said in one of his songs, what a wonderful world.